Welcome back to the Workshop Handyman. Today we're going to work on something, a little drill here. I had a neighbor needed to borrow a drill, and it was an older drill, and so we let him use it. It's been a good old drill, but it came back not such a good drill. It was broken, did not work. So he claimed it just kind of started throwing fire and sparks out of it, and brought it back to me. He says, do what you got to do. Fix it up, buy a new one, whatever, he cover it, which is good. The neighbor's fine, I don't have a problem with that, as long as you don't bring my tools back broken and not tell me. That's the aggravating part. So we'll work together to get that fixed. But, so I took this is, let me see what I can do. So this is a Makita drill. It's a model DP 4700. As you can see, I purchased this back in 1988, so it's earned its keep well. We've used it for many years, and it's been a good drill, and it's a powerful one. So I've about broken my wrist with this a couple of times. It's got enough strength for a little pistol grip. So we can show you this, and if you look at this, you can see I've got a little bit torn apart because I did do a little exploratory on it. You can see I had busted this handle along with my hand once upon a time, and we taped it back together. So it's been a good old drill. It's got some power. It's got a low RPM, so I really like the model. I cannot find it anymore, so I kind of want to salvage it if I can. So what I did is I took the couple screws out of this, and to do the exploring, I went ahead and while I had it apart, I glued the handle back up in hopes that we will be able to get this back running. And then we went ahead and I looked, and of course the brushes are probably bad with sparks coming out of it. That's normally it. Hopefully we haven't destroyed the armature, which is the little part down in here. I think you can see it. So what we did is I took it apart, and then I kind of just spin it over slowly and make sure that none of that was burnt real bad, and it really didn't see any real good signs that anything was damaged. Now that's not to say that it isn't, but we went ahead and looked that over. I think that the armature looks good, so I thought it was worth the investment of some new brushes to put into it. So I went ahead and we pulled the brushes out to see what it was, and this is what's left of the old brush. Kind of beat up, chewed up. I took it out, looked it over, said, yeah, that definitely is beyond wear. So maybe it's just outlived its life. That's very possible. Electric motor. And if you take that and compare it to the new brush, you can see there's a pretty good bit of wear on this. So it's below what they would call the wear mark, and there's a small mark most of the time on these brushes. Let's see if I can find one on this one or not. Sometimes they'll have a mark. I thought I saw one earlier. But anyways, sometimes there's a mark on there even, but most of the time you know they're bad when they stop working. So we've gone ahead. I went ahead and just made sure everything looked good. I've already removed this screw, pulled this, which is your brush holder, and I've replaced this brush here. So we're going to go ahead, I'll do this other one, which is a little bit more complex because I've got the switch and all. We're going to have to pull this up out of the way, take our screwdriver, and we'll just kind of go through the steps real quick, show you how it really isn't that hard to do. A little frustrating at times, but it's not really a bad job. So let's see if I can set the camera up here, and we'll see if we can get you kind of zoomed in enough to where you can tell what I'm doing, and I don't get my fingers all in the way in the process of trying. So we may have to kind of speed this up a little bit, but let me just take this out of the way, slide this over a little bit, just enough to get it out of the way. We got this wire. Like I say, this is kind of a tight fit, but we should be able to do that. And bust that one screw is holding the keeper in there, so we'll take that screw out, and we'll go ahead and do this, and then that allows for this whole brush holder to pull right up out, or should. Yes, it's up out, and man, you can see that it's overheated. It's not been reaching. There's no spring action left. They've got a buildup of whatever on here. That's not good. So this brush definitely does not protrude out enough to get it under that armature, so I feel very confident that that's still our problem. Now, this will have a different way of mounting in some drills. These are all about the same on any of your equipment. So we can go ahead and see if we can probably going to have to get a little screwdriver in there on this one. And there's a little spring release almost on some of these that don't allow that to go out, so you might have to get in there and push it. And that allows this to come straight on out. And there again, we can see, I hope, in here, that that one looks pretty shot compared to the new one. So we're going to go ahead and just swap that out. And we'll slide this right back into it. And like I say, there's a little catch there. We slide that in, and you can see how much more this sticks out compared to the first one that we just pulled out. And then we'll have to move our wires back out of the way and try to get this back in beyond all this. Sometimes a little screwdriver will help you move some of these wires around gently. There we go. And then you line that up. You have to push your brush back in. Like I said, this is a little bit awkward, but square it back up again. And then push that brush all the way back in so you can get it lined back up with the holder. And let her seat down in there. There we go. That's all there is to putting a brush into it. And now we can go ahead and line your trigger back up. Make sure that sits back in place where it's supposed to. Make sure your wires are not all crimped up. Make sure they're pushed back in as best it can be. And like I say, a lot of it's just squeezing her back together. Make sure everything sits back in where it's supposed to. Your trigger works good. And then we can go ahead and put the little clamp back on it. Make sure we don't forget to do that. Move this wire back out of the way again. Like I said, there's a little bit of difference on some of these, but this is the basic gist of how to replace pretty much any of your brushes. Some of them are much easier. They've got outside covers and stuff on them that you just remove the cover, slide the brush out, and slide her back in. Okay, so we want to make sure that that wire in all the parts and pieces, there's a little piece of trash in there, make sure all that's cleaned up. Spin it a little bit, make sure you're not hitting any wires. That looks good. Now we'll take this, set our cover back on it, and hopefully if everything's lined up perfectly, we should be able to just screw this right back down. I think we've lined up. We'll find out when we tighten her down. And with any luck, that was the only thing that was wrong with it. That's not quite. Yeah. We'll find out here in a minute. We'll plug her up, and if it works, then I've saved myself a pretty good penny because, like I say, these drills are not real cheap, and this is a good old drill. I really don't want to lose it. So let's see if we can plug her up and make it work. Let me find a plug here for us. And hopefully no sparks will be flying and we'll be good to go. There we go. Perfect shape again. So my total on this was purchasing some brushes. These are TSCB 75s. Found them on Amazon. No big deal there. You do have to kind of do a little research to find what you have for your particular model drill. I think they were $11, something like that. I could have found them cheaper. Could buy them by bulk if you were doing many repairs. But anyways, $11 saved me. I think this drill, about the closest compatible one I had, was close to $200. So even though it's an old drill, really it'll keep on going. Keep the brushes replaced when they go bad. Try not to let them burn out. If it starts to spark and arc, shut her down. Look into it before it does any permanent damage. Sometimes the heat can melt those little plastic carriers, that type of thing. So you definitely don't want to do that. Shut her down. When it starts to really throw some sparks off, go find yourself some brushes, throw them in there, and you'll have a tool that'll last, hopefully, let's see, from 88 to 20. This is 2022. Should last me another 20 years, I guess. That's what I'm hoping for. So that'll do it. I think that's about all there is to brushes. For most small tools, that'll take care of it. So, anyways, once again, that's all we need on that. If you have any comments, questions, let me know. That's a simple tool repair. And like I say, you never know what we'll get into at the Workshop Handyman. We'll fix and repair just about a little bit of anything. And hope that'll save you a little bit of money and all, and no need to take it to the repair shop. You can do that yourself if you're a pretty handy person and in no time at all. So that'll conclude. Like, comment, subscribe. I do appreciate all of them, and y'all have a great day.